First, the UAD pure plate on channels 13, 14 as a stereo pair. Hi everyone, welcome to Exile Mixes. Happy New Year. I thank everyone who have followed me this past few years since I launched this channel during the pandemic. And I'm so grateful to you guys. For this episode, we'll be focusing on the Lexicon effects bank on the Soundcraft Signature 22 MTK. And what prompted me to do this is on Christmas Eve, I got a wonderful gift from UAD. I downloaded the Pure Plate plugin for free on the last day of the free offer. So I got it on the 24th. While I was testing it, I was wondering how it would compare to my usual effects bank settings on the Soundcraft. Hey, let's just test all my other plate plugins that I usually use for my Oxes. So that would be the Sound Toys Little Plate, Arturia's Rev Plate, and Abbey Road plates from Waves. You see, I have kept my settings constant on the bank of effects on the Signature 22. I use it on snare drums, drum buses, and vocals. As analog settings go, I know the effects by sight, by the position of the knobs. On FX1, I use the plate reverb, and it has always been 12 o'clock on the parameter 1 knob and 9 o'clock on the parameter 2 knob. Unlike a short but full-bodied plate, so at 12 o'clock on the first knob, I see it as a 50% amount of the effect, and the 9 o'clock on the second knob as a 20% length of the decay or reverb tail. So these are just my assumptions based on what I heard, from my monitors. I never dug through the Soundcraft user manuals anyway, so I'm too lazy to do that. On FX2, which is here, I selected the gated reverb. And the knobs are in the same positions as FX1, 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock. The gated reverb has been made famous by Phil Collins' drum sound in the 1980s, which of course was just part of the equation because what completed the sound was the SSL's Listen mic compressor on the talkback mic on SSL consoles back then.
The sound of the 80s, and it's back. It's called gated reverb.
For the Lexicon here on the console, you can sort of set up something similar sounding by making the amount greater than the decay. Huge amount of reverb suddenly cut down by a short decay time. So this is why this one is always greater, this knob is always greater than the second knob, because this will cut down the reverb tail or the decay time. So that's how I heard it, that's how I tested it. So now that we have established my go-to settings on the Lexicon, let's see if I can replicate that sound on any of these plugins. Now the search begins. What I have here on the board is a vocal mix that I did from last episode with a vocal recording provided by my friend Haley. We're going to concentrate on the effects that were applied to the vocal bus, which is here on channels 9 and 10 as a stereo pair. In the previous episode about how to thicken vocals, this vocal bus was used as the thickener. For more about that, I'll post a link around here somewhere on screen. You can see here that the effect sends are in these positions. FX1 is at 1 o'clock and FX2 is at 12 o'clock, both on the left and the right channels of the stereo pair. On the effects returns, both faders are feeding the mix with around minus 10 dB of the effects into the mix. I never found a plugin that could replicate the gated reverb sound that I like, or maybe I just didn't know how to set the plugin sound that way. I'm not an expert, so I know more about this effects here because I've been using this for quite a long time. So for this shootout, we will concentrate on FX1 and see if we can replace it with a similar sound from a plugin, which are actually on these outputs here, on these channels, and have the gated reverb as our constant. Let's hear how my settings sound with the analog FX on board.
You had plenty money, 1922. You let out the warmer maker who love you. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too. You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too.
And that's it. So let's continue. It's a short full-bodied plate, and when mixed with a gated reverb, it seems to cut the decay some more. Okay, let's go to the plugins now. I have all of them in a row here. First, the UAD pure plate on channels 13-14 as a stereo pair. And I have the Sound Toys little plate on the stereo channel 15-16. And I have the Arturia Rev plate on channel 17-18. These are now stereo channels. My channel 1920 is defective, is inoperative, so we'll keep it down. And on channel 21-22, I have the Abbey Road branded plates from Waves. So these are the plugins that we'll be auditioning. Let's focus on the plugins in Logic Pro. They are installed in separate aux buses, and I've shown you earlier where they were on the console. So this is the UAD pure plate. I usually start with a preset that sounds a bit close to what I want. So I select the huge stereo plate setting here. So huge stereo plate. Okay, that's selected now.
You have plenty money, 90.
It's too huge.
22. You let out the warmer maker.
Let's adjust the reverb time.
You do right like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right like some other men do?
I think we have what we want. They're close enough to my ears, though not perfect.
and get
So
me some
let's save
money
this.
too.
I usually save this. I already saved this actually. So it's saved
Get
as a
out of here
user
and
preset.
get me some
I named it
money too.
Lexicon plate emulation.
Why don't you do right like some other men do?
Now on to the next one.
You have plenty money, 22. You let other woman make a fool of you. Why don't you do right
This is a Sound Toys little plate.
like some
So
other men
I chose the
do?
Abbey Road 3 vocal plate.
Get out of here and get me some money too.
But then I adjusted the decay time again.
You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money.
Still a bit too much. Let's decrease the feed to the mix on the fader.
Right, like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. Get out of here and get me some money too. Why don't you do right like some other men do?
Okay, I think we got it near enough. So on to the next one. So the next one is
You have plenty money, 22.
the Rev plate from
You let
Arturia.
the woman make a fool of you. Why don't you do right like some other men do?
I usually start with the nearest thing. For this is a lot of choices.
Get out of here and get me some.
So I chose the chorus plate as a starting point.
You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't
This
got no
plugin has a lot
money,
of choices,
they will
and it's too much for
put
me.
you
I'm not an
out.
expert.
Why don't you do
It even has a drive knob here, but I won't
like some
mess with that.
other men do?
Let's adjust the decay time.
Get out of here and get me some money too. Get out of here and get me some money too. Why don't you do right like some other man do.
Okay, on to the next one. I think for the last one, we have the Abbey Road branded Waves plugin. So let's turn that off.
You had plenty money, 1922.
Obviously, I have saved the preset already that I made, but I started out with one to the vocals and then chose the vocal plate. There's a lot of options on this plugin. It has 4 different plates, and for this vocal plate, it's a bit too much.
Get out of here.
But I think it has the body that I want.
Get me some money too.
But then I decided on the D plate, the plate D.
You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too. Get out of here and get me some money too.
I actually like the tone of this plugin.
Why don't you do right like some other men do?
Okay, so let's play them all in a row. Remember, this is not a scientific shootout, so this is just how I hear it. And I just went to the quickest setting and the nearest to what I want to hear. And you have seen me do it here right now. Some may be a little bit off. And yeah, you can also do your own thing. But I think what I like best are, I think the UAD is smooth sounding. But I like the Waves Abbey Road branded plugin. I think the body, I think the tone and the body, I liked it. Is very smooth. So yeah, either one of these. Although all in all of them did really well. So can even mix and matches later on in my future mixes. So this was a really good exercise. So let's audition all of them now in a lineup and just have the gated reverb as a constant.
Like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too. Get out of here and get me some money too.
So, which plugin do you think sounded closest to my settings? Or if you're not too particular about that, which one did you like best according to its smoothness or its tone? So leave a comment below. One other takeaway from this shootout is how neat it is to audition all plugins using the channels. On the Signature 22 MTK, it's way easier to mute and solo each one. Is quicker, and it is more satisfying to have these buttons. Use your both of your hands. It's way more. It's a lot more convenient than using a mouse in the box. The feel of the faders and the knobs under your fingers also make it more satisfying to experience. So what do you think? I hope you took away something from this little exercise, and hoping for the best this coming year. So thank you for watching. Cheers for the coming year.